Robert Haley stars as Charlie McMahon in The Clock.
The bid is $49.
50.
$50,000.
This is crazy.
That's a Frodsham Precision Timekeeper, Kirk. They come up for sale about once every 15 years, and usually not in Toronto.
50,000 once.
Charlie, you can't afford to buy it.
Anything under 55, I can't afford not to.
But Charlie...
I took a second mortgage on the shop.
Just my point, you
I'm
can't...
working here, Kirk.
I know I asked to see you in action and all. You've got a brilliant mind for this kind of
51!
stuff.
Excuse me, are they bidding on the Frodsham clock yet?
That's it.
We have a bid of 51.
Thank you. 52!
53.
You told me the thing doesn't even work.
That's just the point.
53 going once.
What, it's like a fixer-upper?
Restoring it would put stitch-in-time clocks on the map.
A marketing scheme. Brilliant if you don't go bankrupt.
Going twice.
All right already. 54.
I've been studying Frodshams ever since I got into the business. 1830 to 1939, they turned out some of the best clocks ever made. 55.
56.
57.
58.
59.
60.
$60,000 once.
Oh, man.
Twice. So, for $60,000.
You know, you're right, Charlie. This is damn exciting. I'm glad we're taking some time together away from the job. Renew the friendship.
All is gloom. You should have seen it, Louis. A Frodsham Precision Timekeeper with 3 complications. Molded cornice supported on dentals. Dial gilt brass with stylized foliage. Breguet hands. Elegance personified. There was a second there when the bidding hit 50 grand when I really thought, it's mine. Who was I kidding? The fat cats went by me like I was standing still. Yeah. Life sucks and then you die.
Hello? I have a clock in need of repair. I'd like your assessment.
I'm sorry, we're closed and I've got a game tonight.
A game?
Darts. I just got into a league and... You're the one. The one who outbid me for the Frodsham.
That's right.
Hi. Charlie McMahon.
Hello. Emily Kirby. And I am sorry. I've had my eye on that clock for years.
You're a collector.
No, just a lover of beautiful things. Mr. McMahon, I heard your conversation with your friend. You said the clock didn't work. I assumed you were trying to discourage my bidding, but you were right. It doesn't work. Not at all. And I bought it for my husband. He believes everything has to work.
I'm sure the Frodsham can be restored. They're extraordinary instruments. Some say they created the best turbolons ever made. Unrivaled for their accuracy.
Fascinating. Can you fix the thing?
If I couldn't, I wouldn't have bid on it.
And fixing the Frodsham will help your business, correct?
Wouldn't do it any harm.
Yes, well, given that you'll be acting out of self-interest, I'm convinced you're the man for the job. I need it running by the weekend. Henry's birthday.
I'll do my best.
My card. Call me when you're done. And enjoy yourself.
We beat him, Louis. A miracle, really. Last leg, and Jolene's ready to double out. But she flubs it. Twice. Now, I'm coming up fast, and I bull. So, what the hell? Put the clock down. Careful! The Frodsham. Oh, the jerk dropped it. Oh, don't they ever stop slamming those old file cabinets around?
They pause for lunch. Upside, all the old records should be digitized within 3 years. Downside?
No way they'll make it on time?
Exactly.
That's an ugly-looking gash, Charlie. You sure you should be up and about?
Yeah. The second guy, the one I didn't see, hit me with a Bulova electric. Big old heavy thing. Never even saw it coming.
And all they took was the clock?
The Frodsham, or what was left of it. The last thing I remember was seeing the first guy drop it.
So what did the investigating officers say?
Nothing.
Nothing? They must have said something.
Yeah, like, bad luck, fella. If I were you, I'd check the pawn shops.
Well, did you phone the insurance company yet?
That's the problem. The insurance.
Your insurance?
My insurance doesn't cover a single piece as valuable as the Frodsham. I would have posted a rider today and paid the upgrade, but...
Bad luck.
Big time. So I didn't report the theft.
What?
I can't afford this to get out, Jolene. It would ruin me. Anyway, we're better off finding it ourselves.
We're better off?
Well, I'm going to need some help.
You clear this with S.I. McPhee?
It's kind of embarrassing, you know.
So where do you want to start? Pawn shops?
Pawn shops?
I'm kidding. Suspects?
The guys who took it and whoever hired them.
Or you could start with the other bidders.
At the auction. There were only 3 of us.
Perfect. Hickory, Dickory, and Doc.
Careful with that, George. It's a Chippendale.
So, how did the Frosham come into your hands?
The client asked me to make appraisal. Said, really, been in his family for generations. But the cost of living being what it is these days...
I wonder if we could talk to him. He might have some ideas about who would want the clock.
There's an element of confidentiality in my work. These kinds of transactions can be very delicate for the seller.
This is a criminal investigation, Mr. Novak.
Of course. I'll be happy to call him. Mrs. Kirby must be terribly upset.
I haven't contacted her yet.
You haven't?
In this kind of case, we try and keep as low a profile as possible, at least during the initial stages of the investigation.
Certainly. But surely the owner...
Hopefully she'll return my call later in the day.
But in the meantime, you appreciate the delicacy of the situation.
Certainly. She's a very self-possessed woman, as long as she gets what she wants. Otherwise... Now, you want information about who was at the auction?
If you have a mailing list or knew any of the bidders?
We did get a few requests for additional information on the Frosham. A chain of title, tactical information, that sort of thing. But as for the auction, there were only 3 serious bidders. You, of course, Mrs. Kirby, and the horrible Mr. Rubin. I can certainly give you his number.
Doesn't sound like there's much love lost between you and Mr. Rubin.
The man is utterly insane.
Come in.
Mr. Rubin, Constable Gray.
Yeah, I know already, and the other one I recognize.
Mr. Rubin, we wanted to ask you about the Frosham.
My Frosham, you mean? You want some tea?
No, thank you.
Take some tea. Sit. Life's too short. Sugar?
Black.
1, please.
Milk?
Please.
See? It's done. Here. Take. So, it's gone? The Frosham?
That's right.
Again. How did you get it from her?
Mrs. Kirby?
Mrs. Deep Pockets, yes. She outbid us both, after all.
She hired me to restore the piece.
What? Restore the Frosham? What are you, a horologist?
A chip at it.
Nobody chips at it. So, did you open it up?
They got it before I had a chance.
Well, not even a little peek?
Nope.
Oh, this timepiece will be the death of me.
You called it your Frosham.
Stolen from my father. 1944, Warsaw. I don't need to paint a picture, I hope.
The Germans?
Well, who else? They took everything. My father spent the rest of his life trying to get it all back. When he died, he left me this place and a list. Here.
These items were all stolen from your family by the Nazis?
Yeah, the ones with the check marks we got back already. The rest, well, I'm not so old, I can't hope.
I'm sorry, but I got the chain of title from Anton Novak. The Frosham has been in the collection of a wealthy Toronto family since the early 1900s.
You know this family? Speculators, pirates, thieves.
Their claim is fake?
Fake, and a good job, too. I've seen the papers. Bill of sale, handwritten, from a man named Isaac Hebel. Hey, Isaac Hebel, here. See? I tracked him back. Back to London. Immigrated there after the Boer War. And where did he get the Frosham, you ask?
Well, according to this, he inherited it.
Yes. From his father, who made lenses for the observatory at Greenwich and bought this Frosham new around 1852. Was there a Tata Hebel? Yes. Did he bring the clock to Canada? No.
And that's what this bill of sale says.
You take the serial number from the clock and you trace it back to the company, all right? Frosham kept perfect records. You find out the name of the original owner, a little more checking, and you find some dead man with the same last name, you write a bill of sale, and big deal. It's a fake.
But you can't prove it.
My Zeta bought the Frosham on a business trip to London in 1877, just before Sam Hebel passed. It was handed down to my father, paperwork intact. Look, see? Serial number's written there on my list.
You have paperwork that establishes your ownership?
Would I be bidding for my own property if I had the papers? It was burned in the uprising. The ghetto was in flames. A bill of sale from an old clock should survive.
Then you have no way to establish your ownership.
No. This I didn't say. My father, may he rest in peace, he was a thorough man. He put an imprint on everything of value in his possession. It'll be there. Inside the facing. Engraved. C-G-R. Like here, on this sexton. Like here, on this Louis XIV's mirror.
If you can prove that...
How am I to prove when Mr. Anton won't let me open the clock? When Mr. Barry Letham, the nebbish, won't let me within a mile of his precious collection and my own precious clock.
So you were trying to buy the Frodsham to prove it was yours to begin with?
Very good.
Since you can buy it, maybe you could steal it.
Steal the clock? In this, there's no satisfaction. But to stand up at Novak's and say, "So, mister, you dealer in stolen goods, now you will tell everybody Mr. Barry Letham, Mr. Big Deal Barry Letham is a gonif." Oh, in this, there is satisfaction. You get my clock back, and I will pay you $10,000 for 10 minutes in a room. And then, it's mine for good.
And if we don't get it back?
I'll live. Look at my list. 35 other items still to recover. But if you find it, my offer stands.
No doubt about it. Mr. Rubin is a full-bore crank. We've got at least 200 entries on him. Some disturbing the peace, trespassing, harassment, a ton of dismissed claims of ownership.
The Frodsham?
Some of them are. He's got a pretty good hate on for the AGO, too. Claims they've got a Degas in their collection belonged to his grandfather. Same story. He's got no proof that'll stand up in court, while they've got glitches in the line of ownership.
You ever get to court on the Frodsham?
Not so far, but he's still trying.
So, we got one suspect, that's for sure.
You gonna talk with Barry Letham?
6:30 at the Griffin Club.
I'm on duty, so you'll have to go out there.
Far out. Only way I'll ever get into the Griffin Club. All this and the guy needs to sell off a clock?
You can imagine the membership dues.
Actually, I can't. And given my last name, I doubt it would matter.
Game, set, and match. Thanks for the workout, Henry. Constable Fieldstein.
Mr. Letham.
Barry. And you'd be McMahon.
That's right.
Good to meet you both. Want a beer?
No thanks.
Sorry, on duty.
Fortunately, I'm not. George, martini. So you guys want to know about the Frodsham?
Yeah, do you have any thoughts about who might have wanted...
snatched it? Chaim Rubin.
He's been a real thorn in your side, I guess.
More like a pain in the butt. Getting rid of the Frodsham was finally a very big relief.
Too bad, though, after being in the family all these years.
Just one more trinket locked up in a case. I didn't even know I owned the damn thing until Chaim started poking around.
He claimed that if he could take it to pieces, he could prove it was his.
The Frodsham was already broken. I didn't want it destroyed. I mean, face it, the man's wound a little too tight himself.
So tight he'd steal the piece?
I think so.
Anyone else seriously interested in it?
Besides you and MEK? Nah. Sorry she got her paws on it, though.
So you know her?
I was married to her for a couple of months, but know her? Nobody gets that close.
You were married to Emily Kirby?
Oh, we all make mistakes, but buying my father's clock and giving it to Henry, well, the girl never forgave me, obviously.
Did she know about Mr. Rubin's claim?
Of course not. Watching her and Henry get chased around town by that nutty old Hebrew, oh, I was looking forward to it.
So you didn't declare the contested ownership?
I wasn't required to. He had no case.
Mr. McMahon, why didn't you call me?
Well,
the Frodsham has been stolen, hasn't it?
I didn't want to needlessly alarm you.
You have at least reported the theft to your insurance company?
I didn't think it would be necessary.
You are insured?
Partially.
Partially? You had better get that damn clock back, Mr. McMahon, or I'm going to put you out of business. Forever. Good to see you're out of rehab, Barry. Stay off the junk. Remember, Charlie, I will ruin you and not even blink.
Sorry I'm late, Louis. Well, this has got to be one of the worst days of my life. You'd think after 25 years of dropping the ball I'd have learned a few things. But nope. What do you got there, anyway? Balance wheel? Oh, my God. A tourbillon.
Welcome. Hey, Charlie. I've been rummaging around these antique clock sites. Geez, some of these things are worth a fortune. There's this auction site run out of Dallas.
I need to go to the British Horological Society website.
Not a problem. I got their page bookmarked. What's up, anyway?
Last night when I got home, I found Louis batting this around the floor.
What is it?
A tourbillon.
Which is?
A frame geared to the going train that rotates the escapement.
Going train? Escapement?
Escapement. The part of a clock that measures beats and controls the speed of the going train, which is the thing that moves the hands. The tourbillon controls positional error. See...
Never mind. There's something special about this one?
It's from the Frodsham.
You think Mrs. Kirby will go for a partial recovery?
No. Look, see the engraving?
ADHMRO.
Okay, now stick with me here. After 1851, Charles Henry Frodsham started putting this special mark on his highest quality product. It's code.
Code?
C.H. Frodsham. 10 letters. C is 0. H is 1. F is 2, and so on.
Got it. So ADHMRO decodes as 85193 which means...
Now skip the AD. It stands for Anno Domini.
Year of our Lord, 1934?
And that, according to the Frodsham Code, is the manufacturing date.
No way.
I double-checked it in antiquarian horology. Now we're going to triple-check it with the Brits.
If our clock was made in 1934, then Barry Letham is lying.
To start with, but Malcolm, Frodsham stopped making this style of clock before the First World War.
So? Tea?
No, thanks. We want to talk to you about the Frodsham.
You found it?
No, but the clock was dropped during the robbery. It broke open.
Oh, please, you broke my heart already.
I found a tourbillon on the floor of my shop. There's an engraving on it.
My father's mark?
No, it's a forged manufacturing date.
The clock is a fake.
A fake.
It's worthless. So, if you were to return it...
I told you I don't have it. And of course it's a fake.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, but such a fake. My father, he was a genius. Oy, but what an ego. He had to leave a clue. Obscure, but still a clue. And my luck, you found it.
But if the clock was a fake, all you had to do was prove to Novak that it was worthless.
Please. It's only worthless if you know it's a fake. And with my father's craftsmanship, tell the truth, Mr. McMahon, if the tourbillon hadn't gotten loose, would you have checked the number?
Probably not.
No. See? You don't check. Letham didn't check. Not even that Mr. Novak checked. I figure I get the Frodsham back legit eventually. And if nobody knows it's a fake, I got a sizable asset. Plus, I protect my father's memory. God rest him.
You really don't have it, do you?
What, do you want me to say it again? I ain't your guy.
If it's a fake, that changes everything.
Only if somebody else knew it was a fake.
And was afraid I'd figure it out. Which presumes either Anton Novak...
Or Emily Kirby.
Or the fat man.
The who?
Like the Maltese Falcon?
With a clock in its stomach.
I don't get it.
The Maltese Falcon. Classic Hammett, Sam Spade. Humphrey Bogart.
Sorry, sweetheart. I gotta send you over.
What?
Okay, Fieldstein. What in the hell is going on this time?
S.I. McPhee.
Oh, look. The usual suspects.
What's the matter, Kirk?
You tell me. I get a call from the chief. This Griffin Club matron called Kirby is all over him about some stolen clock.
Oh, boy.
I take it it's that clock?
The Frodsham.
You guys are conducting an unauthorized investigation into the theft of that thing?
Just asking around a bit, sir.
You trying to get these officers fired, Charlie?
I needed help.
This is my team. You should have called me. I've created a monster. What have we got?
The clock's a fake.
Great.
Our main suspect seems to be in the clear.
Couldn't be better.
We got nobody else.
Great. What's next? Canvass the pawn shops?
Yeah, well, I am, sort of. I'm spamming the horological sites. I want to buy a Frodsham. Money, no obstacle.
Some fence is going to email you?
No, not me. Sheikh Pharaoh Yemeni.
You created a fake sheik?
No, he's a real guy. Big collector. Loves to restore old timepieces. All I'm doing is borrowing his mailbox. It's not even illegal. Exactly.
Got anything?
Not yet. But if we do, we'll have to set up a sting.
You get something, I'll get you enough cash to get their attention. Charlie?
It was somebody who knew I had the clock. Either the auctioneer, the Kirby woman, or maybe even Barry Letham.
Barry Letham?
He was the last owner.
I hate millionaire junkies. They always get off. Doctors for days, Betty Ford Clinic.
You know him?
Everybody in narcotics got a whiff of him at one time or another. Anyway, I heard he's clean lately. My bet? The guy at the auction house. Those guys are all crooks.
Anton Novak. I did run a check.
Anything interesting?
You should see his website. Very slick.
So, he's web savvy.
Yeah, he's a graduate of the Czech Technical University, Department of Mechanical Engineering.
You think the school has a website?
For sure. Ta-da!
Let me in there. I want to root around a bit. Excellent. They have an English text option. Okay, Division of Precision Mechanics and Optics.
So who gets hurt if it comes out the clock's a fake?
Mrs. Kirby, she bought it.
Barry Letham. He supplied false documentation.
Novak, he sold it. And this school is a clockmaker's paradise.
You're saying he knew?
I'm saying anybody who came out of this program could damn well figure it out. What did I do?
Nothing. I've got mail. No, I'm wrong. The Sheik has mail.
Sit down, Mr. James.
Thank you, Mr. Novak.
Now, how can I help you?
My client instructed me to acquire a certain antiquity. Is it in your possession?
It is. Do you have the funds?
I do. Would you like to...
No. I'm sure the amount is correct.
And the clock?
Here, in the safe.
That's it?
His Highness is aware that the piece requires restoration.
Yes, and I'm sure he'd love to tinker with it. Unfortunately, he won't get the chance, because you are under arrest. How civilized. Mrs. Kirby and her ex whacking the ball about together.
I'm going to enjoy this.
We all will. Jolene, since I got the collar on Anton, you can do the honors.
Mrs. Kirby, Mr. Letham?
Mr. McMahon, back again.
Couldn't stay away.
Usually the staff would deal with that problem. I assume you have something on the clock?
Better than that. We've got the clock.
You do?
You do?
You both seem surprised.
Yes. Well, I mean, I just assumed.
You
that...
assumed Anton wouldn't be so greedy he'd try and sell it again. But he was, and he did. And Constable Fieldstein managed to buy it and arrest him.
Anton, the auctioneer. He stole the clock?
Actually, you both did.
Say what?
He claims Mrs. Kirby paid him to take the clock.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Not really. After Barry found out you'd bought the fraud sham, he couldn't resist telling your husband it was a fake. Could you, Barry?
Well, it did come up. And Henry is so stiff-backed, he'd rather eat the 60 Ks than let it get out Emily got taken.
But you felt differently, didn't you, Mrs. Kirby?
This is ridiculous.
You figured I'll set up the poor little clock repairman, collect on the insurance, and show both the boys what I'm made of.
You can't prove any of this.
We already have. So if you'd like to come with us?
Oh, don't worry, Emily. I'll track down Henry and tell him you're in the clink.
Sorry, but you won't be able to do that.
What? Why not?
You're under arrest, too.
Why?
Mr. Rubin was right. The initials are on the fraud sham, right where he said they'd be. It is his father's clock.
But it's a fake.
It's still his property and you knew it. That's conspiracy to sell stolen goods.
So, you're both under arrest?
Jolene, regulations.
Yeah.
Ah. Handcuffs. The great leveler.
You have been listening to The Clock, this week's episode of our series, The Old Guy by Paul LeDoux. Featured in the cast tonight, Robert Haley as Charlie McMahon, William Colgate as Kirk, Ryan Rogerson as Malcolm, and Karen Glave as Jolene. With them you also heard Alan Jordan as Anton Novak, Nicholas Rice as Chaim Rubin, Janet Lane Green as Emily Kirby, and Richard Clarkin as Barry Letham. The music was composed and conducted by Milan Kymlick. The recording engineer was Wayne Richards. Sound effects were by Matt Wilcott. Colleen Woods was the associate producer. Our coordinating producer is Barry Morgan. The program was produced and directed in Toronto by Bill Howell, the executive producer of the Mystery Project. Next time, Malcolm and his computer hit a serious pothole on the cyber highway. Listen.
You know what I'm doing right now? Cracking the securest block on their Unix system.
You're hacking the department's system?
Hey, you can't steal your own car. What I'm doing is called security analysis.
For whom?
Oh, I've got to keep myself amused somehow. And their security system's got more holes than a block of Swiss cheese. Figure when I hand in my report...
What was that?
An alarm prototype. Security breach in the homicide database. S.I. McPhee's being hacked. As we speak.
What did they get?
It's going to take a lot of analysis. The good news is they copied the files but didn't delete them.
Copied to where?
That'll take a few days to figure out.
In the meantime, you've sealed up the leak, right?
No.
What?
If we plug the leak, we'll tip off whoever's doing this and probably lose the thread.
So we've got to keep letting them in.
Think of it as a sting operation.
I think I should call the guys in computer crime.
You could, but they'll play by the book and lose our hacker. If you let me handle it...
I'm phoning Charlie.
Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie.
Charlie doesn't know computers.
But he knows what happens when details of ongoing investigations get out, and he knows how to keep his mouth shut. What are you going to need, Malcolm?
To do it right, I'll have to rent some specialized monitoring gear and get some help with the results. I know a place I can get both, but it won't be cheap.
I can finance it through our furniture budget.
Computers aren't exactly furniture, are they?
If it sits on a desk, it's furniture. Hello, Charlie? We got work.
But Charlie is going to need help to get up to speed on this one. That's for next time. I'm Bob Boving, thanking you for listening and inviting your comments. See you next week.